So, are we willing to life to be different? Are you willing for life to be different? Do you have a vision for your life? Or are you wasting your life in delusions of grandeur and fantasy? Okay, I have more thoughts on maladaptive daydreaming. So, I notice, generally speaking, the more time people spend in fantasy, the less successful their lives are, the less they do in reality to work towards their vision, or to even have a vision or to have goals. By contrast, the successful people I know, they don't spend hours a day in fantasy, daydreaming, that kind of escape. They like reality, they're immersed in reality, and that's how they spend their time. And as a consequence, they're more successful. And you're saying, oh, dude, if I was successful, I wouldn't be spending so much time in maladaptive daydreaming either. But maladaptive daydreaming is both the result of failed life and a cause. So, are we willing for life to be different? Are you willing for life to be different? What does that willingness look like? You have a vision for your life. You translated that vision into goals. Do you have benchmarks for those goals? Do you reward yourself when you hit those benchmarks? It's really easy to be that guy sitting in a bar talking about how he could have been a contender. As my therapist said to me once, I'd hate to see you waste your life in delusion. And it's a lot easier to just get high fantasizing about how you'd like life to be, rather than to take concrete steps towards creating a better life. So what would that better life look like? How would you set goals for all areas of your life, for your love life, for your learning, for your earning, for your vision work, for your friendships, for your place in the community, for your artistic achievements, your scholarly endeavors? Like, what would your vision look like? Be specific, write it down. So I got hold of this awesome goals pages group from a 12-step meeting. Okay. Preparing to define my goals. What is my vision? Do I have a vision for my life? If yes, how will my goals emerge out of that vision? If not, how will clarity of vision help me define my individual goals? How will I define my vision? Removing obstacles. Am I willing for life to be different? What does willingness look like? How do I express willingness? Am I willing to let go of all attachments I have had to suffering? Am I willing to let go of any and all resistance I have had to being happy and prospering? If not, what is in my way? What would it look like, feel like, sound like if I let go of all resistance to happiness and good fortune? Am I willing to let God show me a new way of living? Am I willing to enjoy my life? What will enjoyment look like? Am I willing to be different, to be the change I wish to see? What will that change look like? Defining my goals. I'll have goals for all areas of my life, such as overall vision, earning, immediate earning, vision-based earning, service, spirituality, recovery, self-care, family and friends, recreation and play, learning. What do I define as the major areas of my life? How does each area relate to my under-earning? We set goals to measure our progress and reward achievement. I will write down my goals and I will be specific. I will separate each goal. I will write down small steps that I can take towards achieving my goal. So, in May of 2015, had to ship my Hewlett-Packard computer back to Hewlett-Packard for a repair. And so I was staring at an empty evening, and my boss at the time at first said, "Oh, you can take the work computer home with you." And then he said, no, you can't. So I was stuck, and I said, okay, I'm gonna go investigate those 12-step meetings that relate to debting and under-earning and the poverty mindset, just escaping from having a very small life. And so I went to a Visions Debtors Anonymous meeting. And Debtors Anonymous did not become my main program, but just going to that Visions meeting was inspiring, because it started off, it was a Thursday night, it's in the Hancock Park area, and the meeting was in this Protestant church, and I felt like, this is weird. I grew up a Protestant. I converted to Orthodox Judaism because I was embracing the divine truth, but my life didn't exactly take off. My conversion was not some stunning success that people will be writing books about. And so here I was, circling back to a Protestant church just like my childhood, going to a Visions meeting of Debtors Anonymous, and there are all these beatific pictures of the historic Protestant clergy on the walls of the room. The church was now primarily an Asian church. I think it might even be primarily Korean. But all these pictures of dead white males were on the wall. And I've circled back to another damn Protestant church, trying to get my life together, going to this Debtors Anonymous meeting, a Visions Debtors Anonymous meeting. And it started off with everybody got 30 seconds to share their vision. And things started clicking. It was exciting to be in a room filled with people articulating their vision and to varying degrees working towards it. And I got inspired because I have found in my life, when I've got deep enough character issue, a deep enough soul sickness, a deep enough spiritual blockage, I can't just overcome it on my own. I need other people. I need friends. I need community. I need people. I need connection. I need to hear the stories of people who've been as defeated, humiliated by life as I have been. And I need to see and I need to hear how they turn things around. I need to connect with them. And I need to find mentors and sponsors. And it all started off in this one room. I was excited from my very first meeting. And my therapist quickly picked up on it. I was going to weekly therapy at the time, and he said, your body language has changed, the way you speak has changed, your whole attitude, the vibration you put out into the world, it's all changed. Because I suddenly saw like this step-by-step detailed plan that I could execute to have a better life. Okay. I will develop small action steps necessary to move toward and achieve my goals. Can I allow myself to go one step at a time? Can I allow myself to take action in small time frames of 15, 20, 30 minutes at a time? Getting ready for action. Am I willing to accept help in achieving my goals from God? Am I willing to allow a spiritual solution to transform my life around each issue or goal? What other support will I need to follow through to completion? So, for example, technology. Learning technology is kind of hard for me. I've inherited these certain neural pathways that immediately lead to anxiety, rage, and despair when learning new technology. And so if I take little bite-sized actions, okay, I'm just going to spend 15 minutes, 20 minutes, then I can push through my blocks. If I tell myself, okay, I'm just going to spend half an hour cleaning my room. This procedure sounds very American to me, Europeans would find this a bit naive. Yeah, America is a much more optimistic country than Europe. Much more optimistic. People have much more of a sense of free will, and that they can create their own destiny, particularly in California, particularly on the West Coast. So I've lived in California primarily since 1977. I like how people here are nice. I like how they're optimistic. I like how they feel like they can create a great life for themselves. I like how they're not tethered to family and tradition in some kind of stultifying, smothering, suffocating way. People here, generally speaking, feel like there are fewer limits, that they can achieve great things. Yeah, it's an optimistic, exciting place to be, Los Angeles and California. And that's where I've lived, and that's the attitude I've inherited. And when I go back to Australia, I feel like I'm stepping into a blowtorch, because Australia has much more of the attitude of we'll cut down the tall poppies. We'll cut down the people who think they're better, because Australia is the best country in the world to be an average bloke. But the United States is the best place to be if you're excellent. Like, the highest achievers tend to want to move to the United States because there's simply more room and more support for achievement. Sky's the limit is the Faustian American attitude. So I think in Europe and Australia, people are much more aware of their limitations and much more accepting of them, and they have more commitment to blood and soil and to traditional ways of life. Okay, what people do I know who can and will support my reaching my goals? Who do I know who may not support me in reaching my goals? Who might actually be draining? Perhaps I should avoid. How will committing to take and then taking the action bless my life in positive ways? How will avoiding or not taking the action harm me? What has been the payoff I have been getting for not taking or completing the action? For example, I get to be right, to be a victim, to complain. I get to have an addiction to familiarity with suffering, fear of change, loss of identity, who I will be without this condition, staying in the drama of old communication and habit patterns that do not serve me, living in the problem instead of living in the solution. Am I willing to show up and do my part and let go and let God? Am I willing to let go of the need to know how it will happen, all the details? We set goals to measure our progress and reward achievement. Am I willing to let go of the need to know the outcome? How do I let go? Am I willing to take a leap of faith and trust that I am in the care of God? So these are all challenging questions. Obviously, some more than others. That many people spend hours and hours just sitting down with a journal, writing out answers, getting together with a group where they would each write for 15 minutes on one particular question, then share with other members of the group. Then maybe tackle one more question, write for 15 minutes, share with other members of the group. It's a fantastic thing to come out of isolation and to realize that your vulnerabilities are not unique. And that was one of the great things about the sex addiction program I went to, because there are a lot of women in there, and I had this kind of resentment and anger towards women that they just had it easy because men were just dying to have sex with them, and they just didn't have to do anything. They didn't have to be the aggressor. And then as I learned about sex addiction and love addiction from the female perspective, I realized that women didn't have it easy. And how women experience sex and love addiction is often quite different from the way men experience it. So men want to get off, and women want to raise their status by getting with high status males. They want to accumulate scalps on their belt, so to speak. They were the celebrity, a star, an alpha male. The cliche is that women are much more likely to suffer from love addiction, and men are more likely to suffer from sex addiction, because it's rarely a healthy woman who just values sex over relationship. Okay. Am I willing to take a leap of faith that God is with me every step of the way? Am I willing to ask my higher power to remove my blocks and for the willingness and strength to take and complete the necessary actions? If not, what is in my way? How do I ask for help and guidance? Am I willing to put one foot in front of the other and take the next indicated step? How will I do this? Am I willing to bookend the action with someone in the program? What are the steps necessary to complete the action? What is a realistic time frame for completion of the action? On what date will the action be complete? Oh, Jakey Jake does a lot of maladaptive daydreaming. So it's cool. Call someone every morning and share my action plans for the day, or to confess to some action that I need to take and that I've been putting off, or just asking for help. I don't know how to go about this. For example, though pretty much everyone in this chat room, probably a sick puppy like myself, we're not all sick in the same ways. We are all alike sick puppies, but we are not sick puppies alike. So, for example, you might have a problem with keeping appointments, writing down appointments, being on time. I have no problem. Last time I missed an appointment, forgot an appointment. It was for a lunch appointment in 2001. Okay, I don't believe I've forgotten an appointment since 2001. And Jakey Jake says, isn't being your own God and doing your own thing and having your own individual autonomy superior to being in a group? Well, it all depends on what are the results. I'm pragmatic. Like, how's that working out? How's being your own God working out for you? And how would I compare that result with people I know who found recovery from alcoholism, drug addiction, maladaptive daydreaming, porn addiction, sex addiction, love addiction, dating addiction, eating addiction? Like, I know so many people who found significant recovery in the rooms, and I just haven't seen profound changes in people's character outside of 12-step programs. It's about the only mechanism that I've seen which has profoundly shifted people's characters from being selfish, self-seeking, dishonest, to living lives of service to others. Okay. What are the steps necessary to complete the action? What is a realistic time frame for completion of the action? So it's good to take these questions, pick up your journal, write on them, and then share your answers with someone who's safe. Like, who in your life will try to bring you down, keep you from completing these actions? Who will suck the energy out of you? Who will ridicule you for having these dreams? Like, who's going to get in the way of completing your goals? On what day will the action be complete? What kind of things would I enjoy as a reward for reaching a goal? How will I reward myself each time I reach a goal or complete a major action? So yeah, we have to be careful who we share this stuff with, because a lot of people just have an addiction to putting others down. A lot of people are not going to support you in becoming a healthier, more well-rounded person. A lot of people will ridicule you if you just get out of the tiny box that they've put you. Like your family, they may well ridicule you if you try to escape from this little box that they've put you in. So that doesn't mean you should cut off all relationships with your family. It just means that you don't share your journal entries to these goals pages with your family. Okay? It's pretty typical for family to not want you to leave the small box that they put you in. It's pretty typical for friends and other people in your community to not want you to change. It's challenging to them if you change. It's could be even upsetting. Even your spouse may not want you to change. I've noticed women that they really like to cook for their husbands because they wanted to fatten their husbands up so that they could then have an excuse to get fat themselves and to ensure that their husbands will be less attractive to other women. So your spouse may not be interested in you achieving some of these goals or any of your goals. They may put you down. They may ridicule you. They may seek to get in the way of you changing because it's too threatening to them if you change, because if you change, that'll put pressure on them that they might have to change. They might have to lose weight. They might have to get healthier.